the trend will catch on next year. This year,
Kevin Cash's dumbass is pitching during the playoffs during the regular season.
Yeah, exactly. So there's only so much longevity those guys have, those bullpen arms have, until you run into, issues. But he definitely makes a case for Game 4. We'll see how Erod does when he comes back. But speaking of Tampa and, the rest of the MLB, should we introduce our kind of tweaked new segment?
Yeah.
Let's go.
And for the audience, we've kind of been, tweaking the format for this and just trying to find a scenario that works. So we're going to do a power rankings type setup where we're going to do the top 3 teams in each league. And then with that, we might talk about their, playoff situation as well. So want to start AL?
Yeah, we'll start AL.
Okay. So I begrudgingly agreed to put the Red Sox number 1 on that list. Things seem to be tightening up, though. I mean, the Yankees were playing well before this Chicago White Sox series, and then Houston looked pretty good against the Oakland A's, and Red Sox.
It was a pretty evenly matched series. I was fortunate enough to watch all 3 games, and that series was kind of blow for blow, but, Alex Bregman exists, so Houston won 2 of those games.
Crazy. But, so the Red Sox are, we got the Red Sox on top right now, put up a ton of runs tonight against the Marlins. Number 1 offense in baseball, regardless of this rough patch we've hit. So, and what are we up to? 90? Is it 93 wins now?
I think it's 93.
Yeah.
92, I think.
92 and 42.
Yep.
Basically, what we hit last year without even getting into the month of September yet. So.
Yep. Magic number's 22, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Impressive.
Oh,
yep.
I didn't know they had that out yet, but that's cool.
MLB Magic Numbers has it from opening day. It's hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy. And so number 2, we have the Houston Astros, and their situation.
They're just red hot.
Yeah, and they got
being ice cold.
All their players back now too, though.
Yeah, that was their big thing. They were struggling without their stars, and really,
we knew that they were taking time bomb.
Yeah, they were going to blow up eventually and get everybody back, and they did. And they took on a really hot Oakland team and had success. And they had a very similar couple rough games like the Sox did. Theirs was a little bit longer. They were 2-8 or 3-7 at one point in their last 10, but the Sox was only a 3-game skid versus their 10. But
yeah, they handed Oakland their second series loss in their last 22.
Exactly. So they're definitely number 2 on that list for sure. And they're knocking on the door of the Red Sox, but the Red Sox did a good step of getting right back, scoring a lot of runs, because pitching-wise, we know the top of the rotation's good, and that's what you see in the playoffs. But the bats you need to come alive. So 8 runs yesterday, 14 tonight. So good to see.
Number 3, we have the Yankees, correct?
Yep, Yankees number 3. Obvious
7-3 in their last 10. Just scuffled a little bit against the White Sox, but they still have 84 wins, and they're better than Oakland, in my opinion.
If it comes down to Houston and New York, actually, it won't be Houston. It'll be Oakland.
Unless Oakland goes on a tear. They still do have 4 more games head-to-head. So.
But Manaea and Brett Anderson are both on the DL, so
he just blows.
Yeah, I don't like that for Oakland, which is kind of a bummer. Hopefully, for their sake, they get it back and have a decent shot at this. But how big of an advantage is it going to be for the Yankees to have the wild card be in the Bronx?
Is it weird if I think at this point that it's going to be in Houston? Or in Oakland? No, it is going to be in Oakland. I got it. I think it's a big advantage because that place is an absolute zoo, but Dave said it before.
Austin, you broke up there big time.
Oh, my bad.
Say it again, Austin.
Dave said previously that, the road team gets to play in Yankee Stadium too.
Yeah,
I'm not scared.
I'm not worried about. I don't think.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties right now. You guys hear me or no? Well, just bear with me. I'm going to hang up and see if they'll reinitiate the call. We were just talking about the wild card game being in Yankee Stadium or Oakland, and I personally feel like if it's in both teams have a huge advantage if it's in their respective parks. And I don't even know how to use Skype. They usually dial me.
I don't think it's the same House of Horrors. I don't think the fans are the same.
It's not the Bronx Zoo.
It's not. And
Can you guys hear me or? Just bear with me. Yeah, I think they still think the call's. I think they still think the call's ongoing. Like I said, it's we do it via Skype, and they usually.
That is interesting. And he's back.
Okay.
Hey,
all right.
you back?
It might have been me. I'm using the 4G now instead of the Wi-Fi.
You and I were hearing.
It had to have been me because the Periscope froze.
I was worried. I was like, oh, that damn Texas, it's screwing me over again.
Yeah,
we were good there.
Yeah, it sounded like you guys were hearing each other, so I had a feeling.
Yeah, we had a full-out conversation.
We lost. I lost it at the when we were talking about both teams having a home advantage for a wild card, and how each team individually it just seems like such a huge advantage.
Matt Olson, Chris Davis, Matt Chapman, even playing in that ballpark for one game. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps Oakland. I think Oakland has the advantage either way. They either get the home game, and the Yankees will struggle out there, or they get to go play in Yankee Stadium, which they're going to be unfazed because they're young and they don't even care. And just like they saw in Minnesota last year, a young team that didn't even care, they put up a lot of runs there against Severino. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Oakland put up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, just like Houston hit 3 solo shots in their wild card game there. 3 innings, 3 runs.
Would it surprise you if Oakland went out and got Gio Gonzales?
No,
I mean,
it could
not
happen.
really.
Sounds
I mean,
like a good spot for him.
They've been buyers, and
They weren't Oakland.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. They got injuries and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll try and pick up somebody. But
he's played there before, actually, so there's a pre-existing connection. So that's actually an excellent point.
Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, that the A's really need pitching because they're 1 and 2 are out. I mean, who's going to start that wild card game right now? Is it Fires?
If it fires if the season ended today. But before we move over to the National League, the 3 hottest teams in their last 10 games in the American League would be Houston at 8-2, Tampa Bay at 8-2, and the Yankees and the White Sox tied at 7-3.
Right.
Just funny.
It's wild considering they come out of the series with each other.
Yeah, wouldn't think you'd see that at the end of September, at the end of August, as Tampa and the White Sox being 2 of the hottest teams in the American League.
Yeah.
Baseball.
It seems like every year, though, one team that's not in the playoffs just goes on an insane run anyway. I mean, we saw it with us, and yes. And then one other thing, though, when Gio played there, I was seeing on Tosh.0 it was like some parent recorded his daughter freaking out when he said that Gio got traded to the Nationals. It was so funny. Yeah, we can probably find it on YouTube even. But over to the National League.
You ready to jump to the National League?
Yeah, we're doing that right now. Obviously, the Cubs, number 1, seem to finally be catching their stride at the right moment. Got Daniel Murphy and their third baseman there. Is it Bodie?
Yeah, David Boat. He's been crushing it, and They got Murphy, and they went on a 7-game win streak. So
yeah,
they're definitely number one over there. And Cole Hamels as well has been absolutely lights out. So every trade acquisition and call-up they've had this year has nailed it. Well, since the All-Star break, Boat has been replacing Chris Bryant, who's been hurt pretty much all year, on and off. And Cole Hamels was a trade deadline acquisition, obviously. And then they have Daniel Murphy, who they pick up at the waiver deadline, who it's just been helping the team, chipping in here and there. So definitely number one there. But it's funny because the second best team in the power rankings has to be St. Louis, and they're in the division and right on their heels.
Red hot. Matt Carpenter did lead tonight's game with nausea, but I mean, it's still not going to stop them. That sauce feeding that team, and they just continue on the stretch that they're on, only 4.5 back of a team that's won, I think, 8 out of their last 9.
They're 7-3 in their last 10 now.
I don't think they're going to catch the Cubs, though.
They're not.
Yeah.
If they play them well, they can. They only can if they take the season series the rest of the way. I don't know if they play them 1 or 2 more times, but if they can play them, the next couple times and take, 4 out of 6 or something like that, or 6 out of 9, then that's huge. But if they don't,
they need to get a move on it because, I mean, I don't want to play a playoff game in Miller Park. That's just me, though.
They actually end the season with the Cubs.
They do,
so
right?
That is important. It's at Wrigley, but I mean the big thing is that they're number one in the wild card, and they can win a 1-game wild card for sure. And then they might be playing the Cubs anyway, so they might be getting the Cubs most likely, but definitely the 1-2 punch there in the National League is in the Central, and both teams are red hot, and both teams are very scary to play against.
It's a big rivalry.
About the Young Guns in Georgia.
What was that, Terry?
It's a big rivalry between the Cardinals and the Cubs as well.
It's like the biggest rivalry.
Yeah,
it's one of them, and National League-wise, it's huge too. And obviously, you have those two teams, and then the team right behind them, same wins as the red hot Cardinals, is Atlanta, the youngins out there.
Young and happy.
Yeah, that's pretty much their motto this year is young and happy. They just beat Tampa yesterday, and they're playing right now against Tampa. I don't know what the score is, but they've taken a lead finally in that division, and they're up, I think, like 3 or 4 games against the Phillies, and first time a little breathing room in a while for them. So they're hitting their stride at the right time, and they beat up on a team yesterday that's really good, and in Tampa they're hot right now and playing very well, and they're losing right now, but
they're hitting their stride, and Philly's going the opposite way.
Yeah, Philly's been struggling. The team that probably would have been in our power rankings 2 weeks ago, they drop out for Atlanta. So definitely a good team. They got a 4-game lead, and that's the only competition is Philly. Washington's 8.5 back, and they're at 500 on the dot. They stink. The Mets and Marlins suck. So just Philly in their way, and it looks like they'll be kind of pulling a, Cleveland type thing where they're going to run away with it pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't like the hardcore analytics that the Phillies have embraced. So watching them fail just kind of, I don't know, doesn't bother me. And I don't really like Gabe Kapler that much either. So
I love Gabe.
Yeah, he's like the MLB Hulk Hogan, like from the 80s.
Yeah, he's just a swole guy on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, so I hopefully Atlanta can eke out that division, and the Gosman trade looks like that's working out very well for them.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good for them, and
extremely good.
Maybe hopefully a Gio Gonzales thing with that kind of get Gosman out of Baltimore and get him on a decent team with some decent coaches. Get Gio Gonzales, who doesn't need to be coached, but can definitely help out. And see a new leaf and get a little confident.
If Gio went to the Red Sox, though, the difference in the clubhouses, must be stark. So
huge.
It would just
Definitely
be interesting to see if, he gave us a little, insight as to what was really going on down in D.C. And one last thing about the Braves. Do we know how Anibal Sanchez is doing? Is he still...
I do not.
Okay. Well, he was an interesting story in the earlier part of the year. And
he was kind of a cast out from Miami.
Yeah, and just seemed to find it
again. He's got a 3.05 ERA.
Oh, so he's
pitching
pretty good. Yeah, pitching well. Yeah, because he hadn't really had a good season since the Red Sox faced the Tigers in the ALCS that year, he basically